100.1 FM, AM 1020, KDKA. This is Cars, Stars, and everything in between. He's the star, Richard Bazzi, Schultz Ford, SchultzFord.com. I'm Bubba from 100.7 Star. And our star today is Derek Daly. Welcome to Cars, Stars, and everything in between.
It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you for reaching out to me.
So, Bubba and Derek, we were talking a little bit before we got on the air, and I think you might have changed the trajectory of everything I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to give you, I'll give you some topics. And one thing you said was you were an Irish storyteller. And that's intriguing to me because I think that's how you can best deliver any message. And then we talked about the fact that you moved here and went to Indianapolis in 1984. And you've never left. So we know about all that. And then we talked about the parallels between what you do and what we do. And I'd like to talk about that. Who is Derek Daly and why is he sitting in front of us right now?
So Derek Daly is an Irish dreamer who at 12 years of age, his dad brought into a road race on the outskirts of Dublin City. And it was so intriguing. I remember the noise and the smell and the speed. And I told my dad right there and then, I'm going to. Now, remember, back in those days in Ireland, we didn't even have a racing circuit. So it was a bit of a reach. But from those humble beginnings, I ended up in Formula One in the most amazing set of circumstances. And after 5 years in Formula One, I thought, you know what, this place, Indianapolis, they go really fast there. And I thought, I'd like to experience that. Came in 1983 just for curiosity and never left, Richard. Never left. America changed my life. Indianapolis changed my life. And everything I've done since then has been directly connected to me as a 12-year-old because I got hurt quite badly in 1984, but I fell into television broadcasting. Another 24-year career. And then after that, that led me to keynote speaking, which I still do today. And I love to share the admired skills of the world's great racing teams with corporate America. I tell people, hey, I've never had a job, never worked a day in my life, but I am active every single day sharing a message.
Well, I have to tell you, you are that sport to me. And as you know, Ford Motor Company has jumped back into Formula One.
Yeah.
And, with Max is our driver. And I absolutely love Formula One. And I don't want to get stuck on the details of Formula One because Derek Daly is much bigger than Formula One. But I want to know about that. I want to know about the details. I want to know about the crash. Like when you say you didn't even have a racing team, but what were top speeds? I mean, today you talk about 200 miles an hour. What were the speeds back then?
Well, when I came to the Indy 500 first, 200 miles an hour was a magical barrier and I couldn't break it. I could do 197, 98, 99. And the frustration was I couldn't quite get through it until I was told as a European road racer, you don't understand American oval track racing. I was told, go walk down the pit lane, find a veteran of the sport, ask him what's the technique you don't understand, and you'll be the better of it. I walked down to Mario Andretti. Mario was a good friend of mine. We had raced for 5 years in Formula One. I said, tell me what's the technique I don't understand. He said, it's very simple. Next time you go out, tell your brain to tell your foot not to come off the gas pedal until after you've turned the steering wheel deep down into the first corner. In other words, trust your car all the way and trust the people who give you this advice. And remember, at those speeds, I trusted my life to Mario. And that was when it opened the door to me. Trust is the very foundation of teams of people who operate on the edge of what might be possible. So do you see how the lessons come thick and fast? If you're aware enough and open enough to listen and to hear them, sometimes from an Irish storyteller like me.
That's a really interesting story. We've interviewed Mario. We've had him on this show, and he's incredible, as you know. So trust your car, trust the people around you. Is there ever fear? Is there ever fear to hit that 200 miles an hour?
Yes. If racing drivers tell you that the fear isn't hovering, I think they're telling you a lie. Because when fear hovers, what it does is it instills a discipline in you to trust what your instincts tell you. And when you don't trust your instincts, you push too fast, too far, you get yourself into trouble, and there's always a price to pay.
It almost sounds like it might be reckless if you don't pay attention to fear.
I believe, particularly on oval tracks, a place like the Indianapolis 500, it can be reckless. But the amazing thing, Richard, I mean, you asked me about 200 miles an hour. Do you know today at the Indy 500, if you can only do 200 miles an hour, they black flag you off the racetrack and send you home, because at 200 miles an hour, you're considered to be nothing but a hazard.
What?
You can imagine what a business model. What a business model.
So what are they running at now?
230 miles an hour they qualify.
Oh my
What?
God.
And believe it or not, at 235 miles an hour in qualifying, you cover 350 feet every second.
So I need to wrap my brain around this. 350 feet. So that is larger than the length of a football field, right?
Oh, that's way fast. That was back in the 80s when a football field every second. But listen to this. In qualifying at 350 feet every second that the car covers, an average human being takes 1/7 of a second just to blink his eye. If you dare to blink on the way into turn one at qualifying speeds, you miss 50 feet of the racetrack right there with a blink of an eye. Isn't that amazing? What a sport.
It's unbelievably amazing. And
I have never, ever, ever heard somebody explain it that way. That last 60 seconds gave me a new admiration for race car driving that I've never, ever had before this moment right now.
Which is why I have followed NFL players onto the keynote speaking stage many times. And they'll tell me, oh, NFL football, which I love, by the way, it's the greatest team sport in the world, are working together. And I remember, and I'll tell people, I said, do you know on any given Sunday in the NFL, 50% of all the teams win? In my game, there's only one winning team of people at the end of the day. A team who plans better, executes better under pressure, quick decisions with limited information at times. So do you see how it's a joy for me to just literally share the high performance principles of the sport with corporate America, and how it's so easy for people to connect the dots to what they personally do every day?
I want to get this to Rob Caffel at Ford Motor Company. I want him to look at this and watch this. I think, that high performance is something we really strive for all the time. The difference, when you talk about the NFL, the difference between your race teams and the NFL, you can't die playing football, right? You're not going to die playing football, but you could die in a crash in Formula One or in Indy.
Hey,
absolutely on the edge. It's on the cusp.
For 14 years, we had Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, renowned for meticulous preparation. I often thought if he slacked off one week and didn't prepare well and went out and made a mistake and threw a bad pass, what would he lose? A down?
Yeah.
The very worst, he'd lose a game.
That's great. What a great analogy.
You make a mistake in our game at 230 miles an hour, it can be a lot more dire. Which is why the platform of motorsports is so powerful for teaching lessons.
I love it. I want to drive. Help me.
Derek Daly will be back. Cars, Stars, and everything in between on 100.1 FM, AM 1020 KDKA. More when we return.
Man, this is good stuff. This is why I wanted to come off script a little bit, because the way you tell the story, really, like, we'll talk about your autobiography and all that. And Bubba, you can maybe do that. But and we'll do everything your agent wanted us to do. But the humanity of who you are and understanding. I'm going to tell you something that I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Remember, you're live. We're still live.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you after we get off the air. It's about a prior interview with somebody.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. I almost made a boo-boo.
That would have been on Instagram by somebody.
I just know you well enough, Richard.
Yeah, you do. Do you know the story I want to tell?
I think that's why I jumped in. It was my job to jump in. All right, guys. Since it saves, we'll be good to go, and we will restart the second 9 minutes. If you're joining us live and watching us on social media, thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching. Getting a sneak peek of what you'll hear on Sunday. Here we go. 100.1 FM, AM 1020 KDKA. This is Cars, Stars, and everything in between. Derek Daly is our star and our guest, and you've got a new autobiography called Serial Survivor, which just launched in the United States on July 14th. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Big time for me. It's called Serial Survivor because I made every mistake you can possibly make. I fell into every pothole. I went over every speed bump. And when I began to capture all of the experiences, I realized survival mode was something, I think I was born with it. I'm sort of a trailblazer, but I'm a focus forward person. When you're a focus forward person, no matter what happens, you have to focus forward, overcome, and continue to make things happen. So Serial Survivor was the obvious name. It sort of grew organically when people read the manuscript.
I'm going on vacation at the end of August. Tell me why I should buy your book and make that my vacation read.
Because it's raw, it's honest, it's blunt, and it's written in such a way that you will come on the journey with me. I have written this and some people say some of the chapters are quite shocking. I mean, there's a whole drug use episode when I was a laborer in the iron ore mines of Australia. That's a bit of a skin crawl chapter. And when you go through that, you're just going to get deeper, deeper, deeper into it. Because all you know is the facade of Derek Daly, race car driver, did a bit on television. I share all behind the scenes stuff. And
so it's more of a metaphor of life.
Yes, you could say that, Richard, because at the end of the day, haven't we all crashed?
Yeah.
Haven't we all had
absolutely
bad
days? I had
days?
this conversation early this morning with somebody actually.
Yeah.
And about anxiety and how anxiety impacts some people and how they react to it.
Yeah.
And some people don't feel it.
And a lot of people in my business, when they make it to Formula One, that's the zenith, that's the mountaintop, that's the pinnacle of their life. For me, Formula One was just a chapter. Because when I went to Indy car racing in America, wow, did my life open up? Did it get more difficult? And then there's all sorts of things happen between then and now today that quite frankly are fascinating. By the way, within 2 weeks, it was nominated for the William Hill Sports Book of the Year in England. Then it was nominated for the Royal Automobile Club Sports Book of the Year in England and the Irish Sports Book of the Year in Ireland. So there's 3 good reasons, Bubba, for you to grab it and take it on vacation with you.
Done.
But I have to tell you, it's so much more than that. But the titles are about sports, the sports book, but it's more than that. And I think that's the wonderful part of it. But if you stay on the technical part of race car driving, and I look at a young guy, Kimi Antonelli, at 19 years old. What to me, that man, that guy, that kid, I'll call him, he must be very special to be able to achieve at his level and be able to stay focused like that. I remember me at 19, I could have never handled what he did.
It's an unusual situation. And don't you find athletes get better younger? Because they have access to more equipment, more training, more coaching at an earlier stage.
Yes.
And that's what Kimi Antonelli exemplifies right now. However, you have to have the mental skills to be able to go emotionally neutral and numb while you're in that car at those speeds with global television watching you. You better be mistake-free.
Yeah.
That's what he's best at.
And that's the part that I don't understand for a 19-year-old driver. That's the part, not the technical skills, but to be able to get in that zone.
Yes.
And stay in it like that for 3 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah.
wow, man, that's just amazing to me.
And his dad is there all the time with a hug to keep him grounded. I saw a great quote by him 2 weeks ago when he said, Mercedes as a team protect me. They put a guardrail up to protect me from whatever might creep in that could potentially derail me. And so I love to see the team able to do that. And as they protect him, they then give him the best car. When you give him the best car, he goes out and wins. Then you unlock another level of confidence. Another level of confidence unlocks another level of skill. And so you see how it builds upon itself till you're at an emotional high with the best equipment and the best support team. And after that, you're pretty much untouchable, which is what we see him be right now.
So we, as Ford Motor Company, have jumped back into Formula One racing. Our driver is Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
And he, you talk about the car. He's had a couple struggles this year. And I'm wondering, I want Max, and I love Kimmy, but I want Max. I need Max to win. What do you think, if you were giving Max advice right now, what would that advice be?
Have your team manager or your team controller hire the most skillful design engineer that's ever been around Formula One. Go find the new Adrian Newey, the gifted older designer now who's at Aston Martin, who has created more world championship winning cars than any other designer, because Max has to have the car. Formula One is an unusual situation whereby you have to have all of the things right. It's cumulative. You have to have the best driver. You have to unload with the best setup. You have to have the best engine. You have to have a car that uses the tires properly and doesn't wear them out at an unusual rate. And the cumulative need of Formula One is ultimately what determines the winner. And you know what? That's the way it should be. It should be difficult at that level. It should be a proving ground for engineers, for people to come together under pressure to see what they can do.
By the way, you're talking to Derek Daly, and if people want to find out more, what is your website? I want to get that out right away.
Very easy. DerekDaly.com. DerekDaly.com.
Great. So, and Derek, I do want to ask you, and this could be a great segue, but when I looked at your things, I see culture plays a really big piece, and it would be part of your success model.
Yeah.
Running a business with almost 500 employees, everybody having a consistent culture sometimes can be difficult. How do you think, what's the best advice you have to create that winning culture within any organization, be it race car driving or being a car dealer?
And in fairness, I hear the word culture all the time. It is, as you mentioned earlier, one of the buzzwords. But culture in my sport isn't some abstract concept, but it's something that has to be encoded into the DNA of all the team players. And in Formula One, what I say to people, it's not just a culture of success. It's not just a culture of winning. It's a culture of extraordinary. Where do you think extraordinary lives? That's the key. And giving people the choice of whether they would like to operate at the extraordinary level, have them buy into it, is the key. I call it culture Formula One, WON. It's not magic. It's very simple. And when you understand what it's like to operate right on the edge of what might be possible within the culture of extraordinary, you get the best from yourself. And isn't it great to think everybody that goes to their place of business, to their job, will have the opportunity to become the very best they can be? And that's the key. You can't tell somebody, I want you to behave this way. No. You say to them, look, here's the personal advantage to you. If you adapt this culture, it's now up to you. You have the choice. And choice is one of the most powerful words in the English language, because the greatest power we all possess is the power to choose. Choose whether I personally want to be the very best I can be. And if you get people to buy into that and they become the very best they can be, you've succeeded.
Wow. Derek Daly, your book and your new autobiography, Serial Survivor, is the book I'm going to be taking on vacation. DerekDaly.com. You are absolutely amazing. And thank you for being on Cars, Stars, and Everything in Between.
My pleasure.
I just hope we got the essence of everything, because just talking to you it's really exhilarating and it's recharging, and I love it. And I did tell you I love Irish music and I love the Irish dance. You did say that you won medals for it. But
I did. Cups and medals when I was 12 to 14. Yeah. My mother wanted me to be an Irish dancer. Oh, I have the kilt, the whole thing. I actually still have it, believe it or not.
Does it still fit?
No.
Derek, I do have a question.